Hi, teammates. My name is Sean J. McCaw. Welcome to this episode of the Eurostep, where this series hopes to inform, educate, and hopefully, entertain those of you that are welcome to anything about basketball, European basketball, whatever. Um, so, before I begin, I'd like to draw your attention to the bottom of your screen. I'm pretty sure it's down there with the circle or the speech bubble with the question mark inside. There you can write in a question while I'm talking, while I'm doing the interview, and I will check in there occasionally, and hopefully I can um, ask your questions to my guest. So let's get started. My guest for tonight's episode is a certified all-arounder. Not only is he an accomplished basketball player, he's a professional basketball player. He's also a published author. He's a music producer specializing in beats and other things. Much more about this guy that you'll find out during this next couple of minutes. I even read somewhere he cuts his own hair just like I do because I can't pay 25 euros for a haircut every time I go. So Tyren Johnson is currently playing in France. He plays college ball at the University of Louisiana-Lafayette. We'll talk about his mantra, "Make 'em pay," which also led to is also the title of his book. We'll also talk about his pro career, how it's gone, and his various side hustles, and also what he expects for his future. So now let me get him in there. Go live. So this should work. There we go. What's going on, Tyron?
Ain't nothing, man. What's going on with you? How you doing?
So is it true that you cut your own hair to save on cost?
Nah. I cut my hair because these guys don't know how to
They
cut
mess they mess up
African
your
American hair.
hairline.
Yeah. They don't understand fading. They don't understand my hair is too coarse for them. So I learned as soon as I got overseas to cut your own hair.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your schedule to talk and inform the viewers out there. Before we start, I like to always tell the viewers how we know each other, and it's pretty much the same with almost all of my guests that we don't actually know each other in person. I started following you on Instagram and really liked what you had to say, a lot of your content, and I could identify with a lot of it. So I just hit you up every once in a while, just say, hey, and I like that post or something like that. And I mean, I think that's the good thing about social media, that you can kind of link up with people that you maybe would have never come into contact with, and that's just like with a lot of my guests. That's how it is with us. And the one thing that I really like about you is you we'll talk about this a little bit later as well, but you have your opinions, you state them, and and you stand by your opinions. And I you're like a stand-up dude. And I really, really appreciate that because sometimes we'll get into that later. I got a topic about that later, but that's just how we met. And yeah, so let's get into the interview. How it'll go is basically we'll talk about your how you came up through your athletic ranks, and then go a little bit into the personal side behind the athlete, and just feel comfortable with sharing whatever you want to share. And you have no time limit. It's just a friendly chat between an ex-baller and a baller. And towards the end, I'll have a couple of fun questions at the end, and that'll be about it. You ready?
Yeah. Yep. I'm ready to go, man. Ask me
All
whatever
right,
you
let's
want,
kick.
man. I'm not nothing
I
smooth.
I kind of figured that, but that's the disclaimer, you know. So whatever you let out there, I'm with you. I'm with the flow. But I just had to say that, you know. I know you're pretty much an open book. I know that.
Yeah, I'm very open, bro.
All right. So let's start off with your high school and college careers. So I've read your book, so I know your story. Can you explain how hard you had to work those early years up to your senior year? We'll talk about your senior year in a minute. Your senior year of college. Talk about how you kind of were overlooked and how you kind of turned that to your advantage up until like from your senior year of high school up until your junior year of college?
Boy, that was a a very interesting time. It was I had pretty much one scholarship offer from Nicholls State, and Nicholls State University, which was like 20 minutes from my house.
Right.
So I didn't get that offer until I went to Houston and played against Kevin Durant. And it was like, oh, it's a skinny kid in Louisiana that can play a little bit.
Mhm.
They realized I was right down the road. But I'm from a country town, so we're known for football. It's all football where I'm from. It's a bunch of NFL players where I'm from, but no basketball players. So I got the offer from Nicholls State, and then I went to the state championship, and then I just started killing every top-ranked player in Louisiana.
Mhm.
And that's when the word got out, and that's how I got to Louisiana-Lafayette. This one coach took a chance on me. I decommitted from Nicholls ASAP just because we played in the Cajun Dome. It's like a big arena.
Right.
So it's the only reason I went to my school was because of this. I was like, this seemed like more
Because
prime time.
you went there for 4 years so that you could play in a bigger arena than Nicholls State?
Yes. And I seen it was on ESPN a few times. So I'm like,
Okay.
yo, I might got a chance right here. But I didn't realize that I didn't realize that they had a signing class of 8 freshmen, and I was the 9th one signed. So normally when you're the 9th guy, that means you're the last guy.
Right. Right.
So everybody, when I got that, guys had uncles who recruited them. There was guys with parent godfathers that was on the team. Guys had promises that they had to keep. I'm like, what did I? Mind you, I only started playing basketball at 15, so I was planning on going to college for football or baseball. So when I got to college, I didn't even know what a triple threat was. So I was just straight.
So you were
athletic,
basically really raw.
super raw, just super athletic, and my thing was I was going to outwork it. And I would say, man, freshman year, the leading scorer on the team name was David Dees, and he gave me the most confidence ever because I didn't know none of the plays. It just didn't make sense to me. Like plays in basketball, I'm like, put up the basketball, we go. So when I started learning cutting and stuff like that, David Dees, out of all the 8 freshmen, he said I would be the best one. And I'm like, whoa.
What year was he?
He was a junior at this time. I think he was like top 5 in scoring in the conference. But he was definitely our team leader. He said I would go be the best one out the group. And I'm like, this is weird. But then he seen me in pickup, I was dominating because I just worked harder than everyone, right?
Right.
So then these next 2 years happened. David Dees and them left, and I was just there. Oh, man, I was buried at the end of the bench. But if you was to come to the hood, everybody in the hood knew that I was the guy.
Right.
But my coaches couldn't see it, and I don't blame them. I give them I give them some respect because not respect, but I give them some understanding.
Right.
Because they had a guy in my position who was from Lafayette. He was 6'7", 230 at 17, and he was athletic. So I'm playing behind. He wasn't better than me, but aesthetically, he looked like he was ready for college basketball more than me. And I was buried behind him, no matter what I did. So it all turned for me when my assistant coach told me, I'm about to get 2 new recruits, and you guys are never going to play.
Wow.
I'm like, you got me messed up, bro. So what happened was, after that game, after he told us that game, the guy in front of me tore his kneecap. And I made the pass. And this is the sickest shit ever because he's one of my best friends. I was like, oh, yeah, it's time. When I seen him went down, I was like, this is my last shot.
Right.
I felt bad that he got hurt, but in a sense, I felt free.
This is your junior year.
This is my junior year. This is the end of the junior year. There's like 3 games left. And I was like, oh, boy. Bing! That was the switch. I was like, they have to play me now. The next 3 games, I got double-doubles. So the anticipation going into the senior season was like, yo, that guy's the truth.
Okay, and now that leads me to my next question. So from your junior season to your senior season, you had an incredible, really incredible difference in your stats and everything, a huge development. So you went from averaging 7 points per game in your junior season to averaging 18 points. You led the team in points, rebounds, steals, assists, and blocks. You were rewarded with being the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year, first team all-conference selection. So I have two questions based on that. Number one, what led to that massive development between your junior and senior year? And two, how did it feel to finally get the recognition that you probably felt you always deserved at the end of your senior season?
What led to it was after that summer happened, I had the momentum. I asked the coach for his key to the gym. I was like, let me get your key. He was like, well, we're in the gym at 8 o'clock. I was like, no, I need your key. I'll be there at 6:30. So my day was kind of like how my days are now. 6:30 in the morning, I was in the gym. 8 o'clock, I was eating breakfast. 9 o'clock, I was in class. I had practice in the middle of the day. I would practice. After, I would stay. I would go to study hall, come back 9 o'clock that night. I cut off everybody, mama, sister, cousin, brother. No, I had one girlfriend, and she wasn't even my girlfriend, but she played basketball too, and we worked out together, and that was my life. I didn't have a college life. My whole entire college career, I didn't have the average college. I lived in a gym.
Right.
And the thing that was the turning point was coach gave us an exercise. He asked us a couple questions, or the goals, I think it was. It's like, what will you guys' goals be? And I was like, I'm going to be the player of the year, the best defensive player of the year, the offensive player of the year, Louisiana College Player of the Year, and an All-American.
You set yourself some high goals for a guy that just coming off 7 points a game.
Right. So my coach took the paper and balled it up.
Ooh.
And was like, you ain't take this serious. And he threw it like on the ground. I was like, that's all I needed. I promise you, every game I played, I thought about that moment. That's why I can tell the story so vividly. End of my senior year, Player of the Year. All-Conference Player of the Year. Louisiana Conference Player of the Year. I couldn't get All-American because I went to Louisiana-Lafayette, but I got honorable mention. Honorable mention All-American. So, and I got invited to the 64 top seniors in the Reese's All-Star game. I was like, everything I said on that paper, when at the end of the season, he pulled up in his car to let me know that I got Player of the Year and that I was All-American. He was like, you really did it. I was
Did you happen to keep that piece of paper?
He balled it up, he threw it away.
Oh.
Yeah,
that would have been dope if you still had that. That would have been dope.
Yeah, so that was the whole motivation behind that whole senior year, man. It was I have been putting in work. No, everybody around has seen it, but my coaches couldn't see it. But I had always been a 18 points per game type player. I just was buried at the end of the bench. If you came in 1 hour practice, you would have seen who the best player was. But that's just how it was. What was the second question again?
What? Oh, how did it feel to get that recognition at the end of your senior year, like from all these journalists or whoever votes for these all conference things? How did it feel for you to actually get that recognition after you set such high goals for yourself?
I never, to be honest, bro, I didn't really feel anything because I just done this in high school. This was the same story. I got cut 3 times in high school. I didn't play in varsity until I was a junior. So it was like, I got to prove myself in college. I was like, okay, now these mock drafts are playing with me. They're telling me I'm going 30th. So I'm like, bro, I still got to prove myself. So I was hungry. I quit school. I quit school because I felt like, they still don't understand. So I didn't feel anything. I didn't even realize that. I was like, this is small fries. I'm trying to go to the NBA.
Right.
So that's when I quit school and I went and worked with Tim Grover in Chicago for like 6 months.
Yeah. How was that experience?
Changed my life.
I love his books. I love everything. I try to read everything about him. I think he's great. So how was that experience for you?
Changed my life. Life changing. Taught me how to work. It brought me around top level athletes. Yeah, man, it's just, you had everything you needed at that facility. And just my mentality just changed. My mentality shifted to, I didn't think I could play with these guys because they was playing on such high level. And Tim was like, nah, you practicing with the first round of guys over there, the lottery pick guys. I was dominating them. And that confidence just killed me.
How, I mean, no, you guys don't just pick up the phone and call Tim Grover and say, "Hey, I'm coming up to Chicago. You got a spot for?" No, I'm coming. Let me in. Like, how did that happen for you that you ended up being able to work with him? Because nobody's just calling him up and saying, "Hey, I'm coming to work with you." I mean, that guy worked with Jordan. Come on.
I had to pay him 30 grand.
Oh, I did not know that.
I had to pay him 30 grand, and I had to pay for my own apartment downtown Chicago. Yeah, I ended up getting
Wow.
I ended up getting one of my guys to what you call it whenever you put your truck at the back of a
I know what you the
they
uh
towed my truck from Louisiana to
yeah.
Chicago. So I was like, I ain't renting a car. This rent already like 5,000 a month. I'm like, I ain't renting a car.
Wow.
So I spent about $70,000 in them 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah,
So, I mean, guys always talk about, oh, I'm investing in myself. No, you really put your money where your mouth was. You really invested in what you wanted to do and what you were trying to do.
I was trying to go top 20. They told me I was going 30. I was like, y'all got me messed up. So I was like, this is my last shot. Country boy, got. I was like,
That's
country boy, 1 year college. I was like, this is all I got.
that. I mean, if you sit there and listen to this story, if somebody's watching and listen to this story, you went from averaging 7 points a game as a junior to leading all statistical categories your senior year. Then you put up your own money, paid $30,000 to go work with the top guy. Um, that's an insane story just right there, based on that. That turnaround from 7 points to, yo, they're telling me I'm going to be the 30th pick, but I think I should be higher in a space of a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
sick.
had I had help though. I would say sponsors at the same time. I had to develop some relationships, but I was like,
Right.
you're gonna get it back. I'm like, my first year, you're gonna get it back. That was my whole plan. Like, I'm gonna pay you back within 1 year. You know what I'm saying?
That's
But I had
that's
made a lot of money from beats too. So I was good.
I was going we're going to get to that too, but that's an amazing story, man, that you really put up or shut up. That's it doesn't matter if you got sponsors, you got people helping you, or nobody gets anywhere without a little bit of help. So I really respect the fact that you really put your money into your dream and what you were trying to achieve. Not a lot of guys actually do that. A lot of guys talk it, but not a lot of guys do it. We
Yeah.
both know that. So after college, you played your first pro season in Belgium.
Yep.
Did you know anything about Europe before you came over? Did you know anything about Belgium before you came over? Were you prepared for the European lifestyle experience basketball before you came over?
Man, I didn't even know what that was. I thought Europe. I didn't even. Crazy thing, I'm a history major and I studied geography, but I didn't really understand when they told me Europe. I was thinking Siberia, like Russia. So, nah, they forced me on the plan, man. My mentor forced me on the plan. He was like, "You ain't gonna make money nowhere like this in America. You going to Belgium." I'm
Wow.
like, I'm not going to Belgium. That was my whole thing. They forced me on that plane. And you gotta think, my whole brain was, I'm like, I'm about to go make millions this year. I'm
Right.
like, I'm finally out of poverty. I think my first check was 150,000 my rookie season. I'm
Wow.
like, that ain't enough. I got there and I was acting like I was too broke to buy food. I'm like, y'all not paying me enough to go to a restaurant. So I'm like, I'm not gonna eat. It was like, you got the second highest contract on the team. And you're a rookie. And I'm like, man, that ain't enough. I can't afford it. So yeah, it was a big time culture shock for me.
Yeah. Was there anything that did your agent or anybody like tell you what to expect or try to prep you on it, or were you really flying blind?
I was flying blind, man. They told me just go do this 1 year, you'll be back with the Pacers next year. That was my whole thing. I'm like, all right, I'll go do this 1 year bid and I'm out. I ain't doing more than a year though.
I feel you. I feel you. So you would have needed this book right here. I know you read my book too, but you would have needed this when you first got
Yeah.
got that contract to go overseas, man.
Yeah, that would have helped me so much. Oh, that would have changed the game for me. That's why I love the book, because I'm writing one myself, kind of on the same situation, but I didn't have no one to tell me about this. Only thing you heard about guys going overseas was they get treated like kings and they make a lot of money. And I'm like, I am in a cold place and I don't understand what nobody's saying. Hey, hold on one sec. Maybe if I turn off this low battery, you see that they keep on pausing?
Sometimes, yeah.
Let me cut this low. How do you cut?
Don't tell me you don't have your phone charged, man. Don't tell me it's gonna cut off mid-interview. Come on, man. Come on back. Let's see if he getting back. Having some technical difficulties. Yeah, I hear you. I see you now.
I'm
It's good.
sorry, bro. That low power mode came on my phone automatically and it keeps cutting off. My bad.
Don't worry. So, so after your season in Belgium, you had a really good season in Belgium. Then you go back stateside. You play with Rio Grande in the NBDL at that time. That's what it was called. You even made the All-Star team. So you got to be thinking in your head, okay, I'm one step closer to the ultimate goal, right? Um, how was that experience playing in the D League, and how was it for your mental to take that step and play that season there?
D League was tough, man. My experience in the D League was Nick Nurse was my coach. Coach for
I know
Toronto
Nick. Yeah,
Raptors.
yeah.
Tough as nails to play for, man. Mind you, I'm so stupid, bro. I'm gotta understand. I'm still green. So I'm like, I'm gonna get called up if I go. This is my whole mentality. So I'm like, I'm about 205 right now, right? I'm like, if I'm gonna be guarding LeBron and Carmelo, I gotta get to at least 240.
Right. For real.
So me, I'm like, I'm gonna get to 240 by any means necessary. So I eat and eat and eat and eat that summer. I got to 240, bro. But I
Really?
didn't understand 240 muscle and 240 fat.
There's a difference.
I'm doing this all on my own.
Right.
So I get to camp. They took me in the first round, like the 7th pick, I think, or something like this. Bro, I got that fat. The first 2 weeks of training camp, I didn't score one basket. Not even a layup. Like nothing.
Ouch.
I could not move. And after the first game, Nick Nurse was like, we made a mistake with taking Tyren Johnson in the first round. And that humbled me.
Uh,
And in about 2 weeks, I lost about 20 pounds. The second game, I had 36.
so you always need that little bit of a kick to push you in that right direction and send you on your lane that you should be in.
It drives me. It keeps me going. It keeps
You
me
need
going.
that doubt. You need that hate.
Yes. And it was even stronger as the season went on because I became an all-star. All these teams are telling me, the Celtics, the Pacers, the Rockets, is like, we one injury away. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting. And the Rockets send down Marcus Morris. And he plays my position.
Right.
So I went from averaging 21 a game in the D League to playing 10 minutes a game, averaging like 12 or 13.
Oh, they had brought him down.
They brought him down. He was the first round pick for the Rockets.
Oh,
So he took all of my minutes, and we didn't win one game with him.
right.
That guy shot every time he touched the ball. Like he averaged like 28 attempts a game.
Yo, if you're a first round pick, you got ultimate green light.
So yeah, I ended up going to the bench, and that just became a waste of time for me. I ended up going back. I think I went to France after that. I think I went to Pro B after that. Oh, it's crazy.
I had you going. So after that season, did you go back to Belgium?
I don't know. I
I
think
had you. I read that you went back to Belgium
I went back to
after.
Belgium after I retired. So it couldn't have been after the D League because I didn't retire after that.
Okay, and so then you end up coming back to Europe, right?
Yeah.
After the D League, right?
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to yourself back then before you came back to Europe the second time?
The advice don't go to a second division chasing money. go to a first division and take less money at this time because I was looking for opportunity because either I was going to play in the NBA or I was going to play in the EuroLeague. That was my goal. So I should have took less money. I didn't need money. I made money 10,000 different ways. I should have took the less money and I had some teams in Israel, had some teams in Belgium, but I went to France because the team Shalom Reams had some good money and they was trying to go to Pro A ASAP.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. That do not play over here. They think, okay, because it's a Pro B team, they're not paying as much as a Pro A team, for example. I also played in the Pro B in France, and that was one of the biggest checks I made. I was making more than guys that were in the Pro A, and so it's like they always say when you play in dominoes, all money ain't good money. So you really have to think about where you're going and why you're going, and if it suits your goals. And I respect you for fessing up, like, I was chasing that check when you could have gone somewhere else and been in a situation that was different. But of course, hindsight is 2020. You never know, right?
Right. For sure. But I should have known that one though. I should have took. Yeah, I shouldn't have took them. The teams I passed up, it made no sense for me to do what I did.
So when you went back to Europe after playing in the D League, did you give up on that NBA dream then?
Nah, because right after that, I think I went to training camp with the Pacers.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to training camp with the Pacers. I stayed for like 2 months. I played against the Bulls, like 2 times, and then they cut me with 1 hour left by the deadline. Like I signed my contract and everything.
Wow.
They literally, I think Corey Maggette got injured, and the Pacers picked him up just like, yo, we got 3 men. You the same as Paul George. You guys are going to clash. Me and Paul was clashing all training camp anyway. And I was like, he's young. We already paid him. Corey Maggette is a veteran. We're gonna go with him. I understood it.
It's a business.
And he retired like the 2 weeks later because I think he had like a season in the injury. I'm like, yo.
Yeah, he did.
That's when I retired. That's when I retired.
Right. So then the dream was gone. So then you come back. You're back in Europe. Where were you then? In France?
I think that's when I went to Belgium.
That's when you went to Belgium. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so you've played in France pretty much the longest in your career, right?
Yeah.
You've won a championship there. You've been league MVP there. What is it about France that kept you there and so long, specifically at the club that you're at right now?
I say France, Germany, Belgium not anymore because they don't have the money. But like the organization here,
right?
Get your money,
right?
Live in a nice house,
right?
Have a nice car. Lifestyle is pretty similar to Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana. The professionalism,
exactly.
The professionalism is amazing. Now, lifestyle ain't up to my speed, but the professionalism in France is A1.
It is.
And I mean, I've had major offers in like Russia, and I'm not going Eastern Europe ever. For 30 million. I'm not going. It's just that's my limit.
I feel you. One year, one season, we had played in the European Cup on the team that I was in at that time, and we had played against a Polish team in Warsaw. And the next year, they offered me a contract, really big time contract. And I just remember when we were there for the European Cup, everything was great, and I didn't feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine living there for 10 months out of the year. And I turned it down. I turned that offer down just based on the pure fact of that European Cup game that I had there, and I just didn't feel comfortable.
Right.
Was it a sizable check? Yes, but for me, it was more important to be comfortable, and I think that's what a lot of players should think about, and not only chasing the paper. But on the other hand, seriously, basketball players have a very limited time that they can make money or that kind of money without other economic ventures or anything like that. So
right.
I understand both. I understand, I'm only going to be here a couple years. I want to make as much as I can. to stash my check, stuff like that. But I also understand, and it was important for me also that the living conditions, the professionalism, the making sure I'm going to have my money on time, that the team is not going to go bankrupt. That was more important for me than the actual dollars and cents in the end.
My agent hates me for that. My agent, the amount of money I done passed up. My agent is like, bro, we could have made $1 million in salary. Passing up this money every year. I'm like, bro, I'm not going nowhere, bro. I'm in Western Europe. I'm in France, Belgium, Germany, Italy, Spain. And I might go to, I went to Turkey, and that's the second time I retired. We can talk about that later, but
Yeah.
that's the maximum I'm going. I'm not going. Yeah.
So I know you recently came back from a 3-month injury break, right?
Yeah.
What did you do exactly?
I had a little patella tendinopathy.
Okay. And so what was it like for you rehabbing? Because of course, as a professional athlete, rehab is tough, because you want to be on the court, you want to be doing stuff. But I think that you can learn a lot about yourself when you go through rehab. I myself went through it with my broken leg that I had in my very first season. Um, what did you learn about yourself during the rehab phase?
Bro, I'm never really injured. So, and it's like, even with this injury, this the con about playing in France. They're so proactive in injuries and things like that. They hired another guy to replace me
Right,
so that they don't lose a beat. They
right.
still paid me, and they paid him. They signed him for 3 months, bro. I was good after like a week and a half. I just had some soreness.
For real?
But
Oh, I thought you had surgery.
nah, man, I had a
Oh,
little, like jumper's knee.
right. And your tendon. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's it, bro. And like after bro, I just need a little rest. Let me stop running around in a circle for 20 minutes for warm up. Let me stop riding on this minibus before the game. Like I'm like, this is what causing. I'm good. Like I'm in great shape. But bro, I can't argue with them. They're like, no, you're not good. I'm like, I'm good, brother. But they signed a guy for 3 months, so that was the hard part. I was healthy, and I had to watch my team struggle because we was in first place, but we went like 0-8 when I went down. So we
Yeah,
was
that's tough, man. Okay, your case is different because you weren't like really injured,
yeah, I
right?
wasn't really injured.
So you could actually come back, but it's hard when you're trying to rehab and you see your team struggling and you want to be out there. And sometimes guys rush back too quick, but your case was obviously different.
Yeah. I I'm still scared of that, of like seeing what it's like I've never really been injured in my life, bro. So I'm kind of scared of that reality one day.
What are your goals for the rest of the season?
Go over the rest of the season, man. This is my last year on the contract here, and I've been here for 5 years. So my goal was, when I came here, I had a specific goal that was, some people would tell me that was probably unattainable, but I was on track. Like, my goal now is just to win a championship. I can't do what I came here to do, but I can still salvage this season and win. I want to win the season in the regular season. In France, you can win in the regular season and the playoffs.
Right,
I
right.
want to finish in first place. That's just the only goal. I got no other individual. Bro, I've done everything. I've been in the league for 5, 7
Yeah,
years, bro.
yeah.
There's nothing else I can do in this league, bro.
So now let's get a little bit into the personal side. I would describe you as a hustler. You are a true hustler. You got more jobs than a Jamaican man.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, I got to read this. So, okay, you're a professional athlete. You do private coaching. You're a music producer. You design logos. And not to mention you have your own podcast. You do skills training back home. You wrote a book. Um, yeah, and you're married. What is a common off day for you look like?
Man,
I'm talking about off from basketball. I mean, you still got other shit to do. So, what does a common off day from basketball look like for you?
bro, I haven't had an off day in like 10 years. I'm not even trying to sound like I don't even practice the hustle culture thing situation. I think that's toxic a little bit.
I got you.
But I don't even know what an off date. What do you mean when you say off? I'm trying.
I mean from basketball. Like
Yeah,
you got to take some time off with your wife, man, or she's gonna be bopping you upside the
I spend time with her every day. I got my
head.
wife is my wife, she's an organizer and she helps people with their daily schedules. So I've kind of taught her a lot too. But I scheduling, bro. Like once that's my day is scheduled from 6:45 to 11:30, I have a purpose for what I'm doing every day. I lived like that since I was 20 years old. I didn't think I was gonna make it in basketball. I was like, bro, I don't got a shot. So I'm not going back home and working these power plants. It's like I'm about to start this right now. So I always had a daily schedule and I stuck to it for the last 10 years. And it seemed like a lot to many people. You didn't even mention half the stuff I did. But it
I,
seemed
I, I, I would just, what I could find, I was like, okay, I got to write this down. And then I was like, okay, I got to write this down too. But I know there's more
yeah,
to it than that.
yeah, it seems like a lot, but when you've done this for 10 years, it's
Right.
you got the systems down.
Got your routine.
Got my routine, bro. I still spend 5 hours a day on basketball. Most players they will see me do all of these things and they will think I'm not focused. But I spend more time in the gym than most basketball players. And I still got these other businesses going.
So you're a busy man.
I don't even feel busy, bro. I don't have time for small talk or
I feel you.
I don't have time for dealing with a bunch of women or just smoking weed and drinking and chilling. We can do that, but I'm gonna dedicate a day to that. We're not gonna just be doing that on the spare of the moment.
Um, just a reminder to my teammates out there, make sure you drop a question in the speech bubble at the bottom right of your screen, and I'll try to get it in there. I've got a question from Astrovisuals. Actually, Astrovisuals, that question will be coming up pretty soon, what you asked, but I'll make sure I shot you out right now. Um, so I think now athletes are taking a lot more responsibility for not just their pro career, but everything else that they have going on. Of course, people are talking about branding and things like that. Um, but what I wanted to tell you was you motivate me. I'm not playing anymore. I'm done. I'm old. I'm a teacher now. I got a pretty good job. I love my job. But when I see you and how you grind, it motivates me to step my game up, right? So like when I read your book, I was hyped. I was like, ooh, and I can guarantee you after I read your book, something changed and I started doing some things different, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to really credit you for what you're doing because what a lot of people don't realize is that we all have a following or we know people, but you're not always going to know when you inspire someone else,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're not always going to tell you. You're not, maybe you don't know them. Maybe they're just following you on Instagram and they never reach out to you. But what you do is inspiring not just to me, but to a lot of people that are underdogs that have been told they can't do it. You're not good enough. You know, getting that piece of paper balled up and thrown at you and saying that's unrealistic. So that's really why I wanted to have you on so that I could share your story and make sure you get your flowers because you're getting your flowers from me right now because you've inspired me and I'm an old head. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you just keep doing what you do. I'm gonna get off my soapbox and check these questions. I got a question from Giannis. Is it true that basketball players avoid playing in Greece because they fear they will not get paid?
100%. 100%. Although I played in Greece, I played in Lavrio, I didn't have any problems with getting paid.
Right.
Our owner owned the restaurant. We got 2 meals a day at a good food. My Greece experience was unbelievable. I love Greece, but you can't take out a certain amount of money out the ATM machine. That was about it. That was the only uncomfortable thing. But when I talked to other guys in the league, ooh,
Yeah. Missing checks. Yeah.
man, but that's a big fear for Americans in
Yeah.
Greece. I
Yeah.
never had that experience. My Greece, Lavrio was a real professional club.
So like I said before, I read your book and can you tell my teammates out there what the book is about and why you called it Make Them Pay? Because there's a message in there.
And the book was about kind of the same with you. You're saying you inspire, we inspire each other. We need to. That's why you gotta stick together most of the time. But
Yes, sir.
The book was about a kid coming from a person's perspective that's the thing make them pay stands for using doubt to feel success. That's the whole mantra behind make them pay. So I want to show how you can use someone doubting you, how to use that as fuel to fuel your success. That was the whole book is about.
Right.
Just simple as that. Using that doubt, how to use that doubt to turn it into energy to get what you want.
I touched on it earlier, but I follow you for a while now, so I see some of your posts and hear some of the comments from your podcast. Sometimes you swim upstream, and I like that about you, right? So
Wow.
I find it hilarious. I find it hilarious. I'm not gonna go into too much detail on that, but like I said before, like you stay true to your ideals, you stay true to your beliefs, even when sometimes you might catch a little heat for it, right? So I check the comment section and
I get
some you know what I'm talking about too. So what I was going to ask you is, how does your wife handle you, and does she give you the side eye when some of the things you post? Does she give you the side eye like, come on, man?
My wife, man, my wife is hilarious, bro. My wife from Belgium, and she's the product of a first world country. My wife is doo 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 la 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 la. She just look at him like. The crazy thing is, if I have an argument on social media, I probably had the argument with my wife. You know what I'm saying? So she already know what's going on.
Okay. Somebody's got another question. Oh, Giannis wrote. Okay, he just wrote that they are a professional team. The team he played for there. So let's pump you up a little bit, man. Tell the people out there what you do, the services you provide, whether it be the music, the coaching, whatever. Pump yourself up. Give yourself a nice shout out right now.
I appreciate that, man. Like I say, go to my website, TyrenJohnson.com. You can get.
I'll be sure to put everything in the comment section.
Yep, you can get the book, How to Make Them Pay. The album is on the way. I'm making an album that correlates to the book. So every chapter in the book, I'm making a song about that chapter.
That's dope.
So it's gonna be a double package where you get the album and the book.
Okay.
I got the private coaching to where I do one-on-one coaching. I normally take 10 people per 6 months because I try to keep it small so I don't have a bunch of people, because we go into nutrition, training, mentality, we go into dating, we go into everything, boys and girls. I got my international camps. I'm trying to give I'm working on one in Belgium, and I'm working on one in France. Right now the camp's been in Idaho, Wyoming, Louisiana, Houston. I'm working on some spots in South Carolina. So I'm trying to make this camp global. That's how I'm going to retire. I'm going to do worldwide camps. So yeah, when I'm in America, I do private one-on-one skill development whenever I have the time. TyrenBeats.com. That's where all of my music is for my beats is at. What else? I'm starting back the website for my visual content company. I deleted it because it turned into a clothing line, and I didn't want it to be a clothing line. I think people misunderstood what the company was about, right. And I started selling so much clothes in Houston. I was like, wait a minute, this is a visual content creation company. This is not a lifestyle brand. It's a lifestyle brand, but not based on clothes.
Right.
And with truth, I'm actually wearing the shirt. I don't know if you see it. It stands for Take Respect Until Freedom. And I got the little German dots up top. Truth stands for Take Respect Until Freedom, and that's basically anybody that's an entrepreneur. We do you do your graphics, we do your logo, we build your website, we do your photography, we do your videography. We full flash. We create your products for you. In Houston, we got print up shops. My garage is basically a swap meet. So yeah, what else we got, man?
Get it all out there, man. Right. You got so much going on, you can't even figure it.
The podcast, I got the Truth Life podcast. And that podcast is basically, we touch on a bunch of stuff. I try to do it in seasons. One season I've done financial literacy. One season I've done politics. One season I've done mindset, mentality. This season I'm doing all basketball players just to hear their stories. So I mix it up, you know what I'm saying? Trying to find a niche where I can niche down to. But yeah. Besides that, man, I'm actually cutting back on a lot because I'm trying to focus on a few things. Really and truly, I'm trying to focus on just my personal brand now, and help my wife build her company up. So that's my main focus right now. It's my personal brand, sticking to my core group. I got like 100 crazy make them pay people. That's all I want to focus on. If everybody else will come along, they come along. But I'm focusing on my core and my wife right now in
That's
basketball.
love. That's
Yeah,
respect.
yeah. So I cut back on a lot because it was getting in the way of basketball. Always got to keep the main thing the main thing.
Yep. Yep.
I started getting too successful.
How long you see yourself playing?
Uh,
What are you, 32 now?
I'm 33.
33?
33. Until I don't like to put a date on it because that's when you count down now. You know?
That's true. That's
So
true.
I always say, whenever they start paying me like a scrub, which I can't use that metric no more because I make more money outside of basketball than I do with basketball. So now it's like I'm playing. I'm like a kid in a park. I have no pressure because I don't need the
Right.
job.
Right.
So now I'm gonna just play until, like Jordan said, bro, when it starts feeling like work, I'm done.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's how it should be, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got the overtime questions where I got some quick answer stuff for you. Um, so name your all-time NBA starting five.
All
Any
time
position.
NBA starting any
Any
position.
position.
Kareem, center. I do it by position. Kareem, center. Um, LeBron, somewhere.
Anywhere.
MJ 2.
Yeah.
Steph at the 1.
Okay.
Steph at the 1.
Yeah, it's Steph, Jordan, maybe
LeBron,
LeBron, depending on your last choice, and
Kareem,
Kareem.
and I'm gonna get Bird.
Okay. So you can put Bird at the four. That's a dope team. That's a dope team.
Yeah,
So you're a Louisiana guy. So are you taking courtside seats at the Pelicans game or 50-yard line seats at a Saints game?
no, I'm at the Pelican games all day. I'm a
What?
Cowboy fan.
Oh, you're a Cowboy fan. What current NBA player would you compare your game to?
I steal a lot of Kevin Durant game.
What aspect of your game do you think comes easiest to you naturally?
Naturally passing. I don't
Passing.
know if that's because I was a quarterback. I don't know if that's natural because I worked on it for a long time, but I'm like an unbelievable passer, bro.
Okay, I got one. I got a question from, I hope I don't mispronounce your name. I guess you're Greek. Mixalis.
That's my boy Mike. That's a make him pay
Okay.
truth.
He says, tell us about your facilities you're planning to make in Houston.
Oh, this
The
dude Mike.
facilities you're planning to make in
Oh,
Houston.
Mike, that's for the team. Mike, that's for the squad, Mike.
Mike's supposed to hush on that one, right?
I'm
That was supposed to be
creating.
kept under wraps.
Yeah, man. Right now,
Mike
I'm
blowing
working
up
on.
your spot right now.
Huh?
Mike is blowing up your spot right now.
Yeah. Right now, I'm working on some investment properties, but I'm also looking. I'm probably gonna buy my own house till I'm like 50 or 55, something like that. I'm looking for some land in Houston because I'm building this one big old, like a pole barn, like a barn basically.
Right,
It's
right.
gonna be the truth joint. It's gonna have like a court where we can do skill development. It's gonna have another side where we can do the music studio, and on the other side we're gonna have where we could do production for us, like create the clothes and photo shoots and videography and stuff like that. So it could be one big playpen for me and everybody that support me. We can work on
Under one
basketball
roof.
under one roof. That's like my ultimate dream.
Okay. So back to my questions. What's the best thing about being a professional? We're talking basketball here.
The best thing about being professional is the ability to travel, see a different way of life.
Yeah, that's what I would have said too. Yeah. What's the worst thing about being a professional? Or is there a worst thing about being a professional?
I'm not part of my culture.
Okay. Okay.
I got to be a
Three
shell
on
myself.
3-on-3 game. You and who?
Three on
Who you
three,
taking? Yeah.
I'm taking LeBron. I mean, they have to be alive.
No, it doesn't matter. Whoever you want.
Me, LeBron,
Three
and
on
Kobe.
three, you and who else?
Me, LeBron, and Kobe.
Okay. What's your most memorable basketball moment overseas?
Most memorable basketball moment overseas. I got booed by the home team.
Why?
Because I was getting killed. I was a rookie. I came there, I was playing a 2. I was super skinny, and our 4-man Chris Copeland, he played in Germany.
Yeah, I know Chris. Yeah,
He got in foul trouble, and I had to guard Blake Griffin, brother. I forget his name. Taylor Griffin.
Taylor. Yeah.
Nothing I could do. I couldn't box him out. Nothing I could do. They subbed me out. They subbed me back in. The crowd was like, no. The most memorable. That saved my season, though. That's what was making big moments. After that, I probably went on a tear. Like the next 10 games. That was the most memorable for sure.
Your guy Mike wants to know one more question before I move on.
He ain't gonna stop, bro.
Did you ever receive an offer from a EuroLeague team?
No. I got some. I was signed with a Euro Cup team, but I've never gotten an offer from EuroLeague team.
I got another viewer question. Kiko Otopu. I said that really wrong. Who's your favorite soccer player?
Mbappe.
Who?
Kylian.
Oh yeah, Mbappe. Okay, yeah. Next question from me. Parlez-vous français?
Un petit peu.
Je aussi. Me too. That's about all I can say.
Yeah.
How do you beat homesickness?
I don't like to be home no more. So I'm not really sick. My quality of life is actually better here.
I feel you on that one. I mean, that's why I stayed. So
yeah, my quality of life is better in Europe.
I totally understand you on that one. You got any game day superstitions? Give me one.
I don't believe in superstition.
Got you. Feel you. Somehow I kind of figured you wouldn't have one.
Yeah.
How old were you when you sold your first beat?
13.
13.
Yeah.
Do you remember the melody of the beat? You remember it?
Yeah, it was a horn with some it was a horn beat with some staccatos, with some strings, like Jeezy type beat. That's when Boosie, I'm from Louisiana, so
South, yeah.
it was like a Boosie style beat. It was my classmate, I sold it to him for like $50. That was like 10 bands.
You were good right then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, your guy Mike has not a question, but Tyren, you are a true legend, bro. Take care, and we'll speak soon. I think he was going to say I have some great news. Then I got F. Jodor. Have you ever had any teams had any offers from a Serbian team?
A bunch.
A bunch.
Couldn't do it.
Okay, wait. I got another one from Astro Visuals. How does it feel to go from playing basketball in the backyard to now where you play internationally?
That was the dream. In the backyard, I was visualizing playing in the NBA, but I know I was going to be playing professional somewhere. That's my nephew, must be. What's the name?
Astro Visuals?
That's my nephew. That guy crazy.
Okay, then that's why he wrote. Tell him about that first Tyren Johnson mixtape.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been making music since I was 12, bro.
Yeah, you've been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. My last question: what do you look forward to the most about retirement? I mean, you got some good years left in you. You're in your prime right now, so I don't want to put that on you. But what is there anything you look forward to after you retire from actively playing?
That right. Got it all planned out, bro. My worldwide camps, my AAU team, skill developing players around the country, a production company, public speaking. I just don't want to have to rely on someone telling me when to wake up and when I can go to sleep and when I can take a vacation, especially if you're not from my culture.
So you want to be the one in power. You want to be the one making the decisions and in control of your destiny.
Yeah, because this is my jail time right now. This is my jail bid. I've done 20 years. I'm 13 years in. I'm gonna do my 15, 18, however long I finish playing. But I'm not. This is hard, bro. You gotta constantly be a shell of yourself just to fit in. I'm not doing this for the rest of my life. Hell no. That's all I'm looking for is just the freedom, bro.
I feel you on that one, homie. I definitely feel you on that one. So, man, you hit the shot at the buzzer. that's it for the questions from my side. Let me see if nobody else has any more questions. Um, anyway, man, thanks again for being part of my show today. I really, really appreciate you. I told you before, man, giving you your props, giving you your flowers while you're still alive, man, because you're not only motivating me, but you're motivating other people as well. And just keep on doing what you're doing, man, because it's important. What you're doing is not only for yourself, but it's also for the culture. It's also for your people. It is also for your family, and it's also for the people that watch basketball and want to learn something. So for that, I really bow my head and thank you for coming on. And make sure, teammates, make sure you check out what he's got going on. I will put them in the comments in the YouTube section when I post it, hopefully tomorrow. And yeah, man, thanks a lot. Get on up out of here. I'm gonna talk to the teammates one more time. Appreciate you, dog.
Appreciate you, my brother. Same here, dog.
All right.
All right,
So
talk soon.
teammates, thank you for watching. That's it for tonight. I hope you got some insight into Tyron's life, his background, his struggle, his will to succeed. I think he's an inspiring guy for a lot of people. And yeah, that's what this show is all about. I want to make sure, I hope to inspire some other people to get to know these athletes behind what you see on TV or what you see on the news or what you see in videos, right? So I have a lot of people, a lot of different types of people on this show with different backgrounds. Everybody has a seat at my table, and you'll see that over the next couple of weeks. And I hope you enjoy what you look at. As usual, my call to action. If you like what you see, please follow me on Instagram, follow or subscribe to me on YouTube, and check out the other videos that have been up. I have the videos from this and also from the other show that I had previously called The Fourth Quarter. They're all uploaded on there. Take a look. You might learn something. Yeah, just be safe out there. You know, take care of yourselves, and I hope to see everybody next week. Hold head out.